in and we'll keep an eye on it. All right, everyone, welcome to UX and ATX. I am one of the organizers, Cindy Brummer. I did a horrible job of promoting because of the holiday and the craziness of the fall. I don't know if you're like me, but this fall just blew up in terms of like all the things that needed to get done. So, but I'm very excited about tonight's program because this is all about helping you all get in a better position to find that next job, to position your career. And so I've asked Lawrence Humphrey to put together a panel, which he did. So it will be some remarks and then we'll split into breakout rooms, but I'm going to let him tell you all about it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Cindy. So assuming you all can hear me, I'm Lawrence Humphrey, founder, CEO of Pearl, a platform that helps make the job search easier for underprivileged candidates. So I am, through my work, have the privilege of working with a lot of awesome people like Cindy and like many of the people on, like every person on the panel. But it won't just be me talking. I'm just one perspective, but I brought in some people that have firsthand experience evaluating portfolios, hiring design candidates, coaching design, like very, very smart people that span the gamut. It's not just me, in my opinion. But through most of this, it will be a little bit of presentation, but most of it will exist in the course of the breakout. So it will be highly participatory. I encourage you, maybe Cindy has already said this, but if you have questions in your job search process about your portfolio, about reaching out to candidates, have those percolating in the back of your mind for the breakout sessions. Because I think we have some time, if I'll pass it to my facilitators for like, let's say a little 30-minute or 30-second intro, or 30-minute intro, geez. Fallon, if you're first on my screen, do you want to go first?
Hi, I'm Fallon Blossom. I was not prepared to do this introduction, so I'm vibing and riffing. It's okay. I am a content Swiss Army knife. That's the best way to describe me. I've done management, I've done design, I've done it in education, and most recently done it in tech. And yeah, that's all I got. Nice to meet you.
She won't name drop it because she's humble, but it's been like Cloudflare, Vercel, Harvard, so she's legit. So
I've collected a few logos in my day, and yeah, that informed my experience. But I am more than my logos, and you are too. So yeah.
All right, Dennis, you're next. Appreciate it, Fallon.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dennis Warner. I've got over 20 years in the design industry, spans the gamut from motion, UX, 3D, industrial design. So I've done pretty much everything in the field. My passion is in UX. And I've been able to work across many domains, entertainment, telecom, utilities, Disney, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And lastly, last and surely not leastly, Lena.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lena Clark. I am an expert level UX researcher. I've done research for companies that you've definitely interacted with, like Costco, NASA, Exxon, Shell, completely industry agnostic. And I take pride in the fact that I've been called an information succubus by multiple large corporations. So happy to help you out.
Adding that to the rotation of little bite-sized terms. So I appreciate that, y'all. Let's get into it. I'll share my screen, share this little keynote moment. And like I said, I don't intend to make this long. I want to talk with y'all, not talk at y'all. So if you're in the session getting interviews as an emerging designer, you're in the right place. A little background, the job search is, as maybe some of you have realized, pretty bleak for underprivileged students, especially without industry connections. I hear, and I was shocked to start to hear some of the stories, like horror stories of the job search since I started with this, but I shared one because I feel like this is reflective of the state of the hiring today. So people are applying for over thousands of jobs in some cases without hearing a single response and getting ghosted and not really getting the feedback to make their application better in the process. And the tried and true methods of standing out require unrealistic effort. Everyone says that, hey, you should have a tailored resume, a tailored cover letter. If you're applying for this, like 1,100 jobs, it's untenable. Making All of these people getting laid off makes it more competitive, which means more applications, more pressure to stand out. And the market shift is demanding even more from job seekers. So they're phasing out the resume and substitutive skills-based hiring, amorphous thing, which luckily design has a head start with because the push is towards portfolios. So, but it requires you to now maintain 3 different artifacts for every single job you're applying for. It's untenable. I am working on a platform, I and my team, to solve for this. So it allows you to create custom tailored job applicants. So these job resources, the resume, the cover letter, the portfolio, to track them so that you know if you're not getting ghosted or if you're still getting considered, because diagnosing your application when you send it to 10 different people, if you're getting clicks, is much different than 10 people not looking at your profile. So all of these best practices from all of these smart people we're putting into our platform that we're building to help job seekers like you all out. Progress the slide. So for today, the plan is to, I guess a bit of context, the background and what I'm consistently hearing, the age-old wisdom, is that it's not just about creating an awesome portfolio that's going to get you your job. It's going to be about who you know, and more to the point, who knows you. So we're going to talk about finding decision makers, what it takes to get your foot in the door, and how to get invited back, for which a piece of that is having an awesome portfolio and having awesome work that stands out. So that level set in place, let me just give you a little bit of the background about the process, about who you're trying to meet, and we'll get into the breakout session shortly, but just some level set knowledge. I heard this really awesome framework from one of my advisors / mentors who applied this to the startup, but I think the similar is true in the job search. When you take yourself to market, there is you, like your work, your combination of values, abilities, and skills, and there is also your reputation. So you can think about this as like your product, and then there's your marketing. So I find that most of the emphasis when we go through school or boot camps or whatever else is about you getting the skills, getting the body of knowledge. So I want to take this time to give as much thought, as much intentionality about building your reputation and how you get known. So all of that to say, if you leave here internalizing one thing, it's less about blasting your resume off to thousands of people and more about connecting with the right people to get you that opportunity. So the players that you're probably going to meet that you hear over and over again in the process, the job search process, is the hiring manager, the recruiter. I actually can't see that. I'm assuming that says recruiter, and the evaluator. And a high level overview of the process is, start to bottom, if you're inside of the company, there is this intake process for which the hiring manager, the recruiter, talk about who they want to hire. They create this job description, including which they talk about the kind of person that they want to hire. So the important thing to note here is the recruiter and the hiring manager are in lockstep at the beginning of the process. As you begin scanning through it, the recruiter takes over and takes over the sourcing, takes over the talking to the candidates, feeling the candidates, they're the face of the company. They're the API between you and the company. And over time, you'll begin to talk to the hiring manager. You'll begin to talk to some of the other employees, the evaluators. But the real high level takeaway, and obviously this process may look a little different company to company, but the high level takeaway when we're thinking about who the best person to reach out to is to identify the recruiters. And this is because they're the ones that are most incentivized to respond. A lot of people want to go to the hiring managers or reach out to the directors and such, but assuming they aren't hiring, they don't have as much of an incentive to respond. And lastly, if you can find the quote unquote evaluators, they can be a foot in the door, but all roads should be leading to the recruiter because they're the ones most eager to talk to you. They are the ones most eager to take calls. I know that was a lot. We're baking all of this into our platform. We're taking a lot of conversations into the breakout rooms. This was intentionally high level. But lastly, before we get into there, are there any questions? I went through this at light speed. So questions or commentary from my lovely panel.
As I have a question as a job hunter right now, at the recruiter level, how do you get to the recruiters? How do you find the recruiters?
That is a great question. So I have found that, and I mean, I don't know if it's always this reductive, but I go on LinkedIn and assuming I find an open role, let's say I find an open role at Spotify, I will type Spotify into LinkedIn. I will type in or like Spotify recruiter and do the people search and see how far removed I am from them and see if I can find a mutual connect to, let's say if I was job hunting today, that's how I would do it. Luckily everyone's on LinkedIn. So
Yep.
if you play enough angles and play that like second degree connection, obviously play your own relationship dynamics. I'm first degree connected with people that I have no clue about who they are and what they do. So, but that's how
Nice.
I would do it. If anything else works for people on the panel, or I mean, they could even be people in the audience, wherever you found success. If I had to do it today, that's what I would do.
Yeah, so I know for myself, I find opportunities to where I am just putting myself out.
Well, was it just me or did she freeze?
Frozen.
No,
Yeah,
she froze. No.
That's not good.
She'll be back.
Okay. The suspense, it's always when they start talking. It's never when like
it was gonna be so good. She had
it's
something
never
really
when you're
good to
in the
say.
crowd. Yeah. That's it.
But I mean, it sounds like she was trying to say, put yourself out there. And if this is a room full of designers, I think when in doubt, design, make something, make it publicly available, build in public. I know in the tech world, that's what they love to see. Process is also cool.
That's true. Lena, are you back? I think I see your face.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yes. You dropped out right when you were like, put yourself out and
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, so I actively put myself out there and I meet recruiters in general. And then once I'm there, know each other. They go and study together, they go to conferences together, they're friends. And that makes it a little bit easier to make those connections with the specific recruiters that I want.
that's a good point. And the other, yeah, you touched on something that I find is true. And again, I think this is just universal. If you can find ways to be in the rooms with people, like all else being equal, you have an awesome candidate that you read their resume, you've seen their portfolio, it's a rock star, presentation. And this is someone who is equally capable, but I've met them in person. They're almost always going to pick the face-to-face person that they have. So, being on panels like this, trying to, going to events, career fair opportunities. I don't know where to find those, so it feels a little disingenuous for me to say, but yeah, playing the LinkedIn game is my game.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions in the general room before we go into breakouts? Maybe one more question. Or observation, thought, exercise.
I guess I mean I've been preaching the oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Let's go to Alberto first.
Oh, awesome. Alberto, your hand's raised. Sorry.
Yeah, this is more of like a product related question for Pearl. How would you kind of get like the ball rolling because there's so many platforms, right? Like as a recruiter and having to manage all of them and then get with like your actual application tracking system and all that stuff. How do you plan or how have you been planning for Pearl to kind of get the ball rolling?
I have an answer, but I don't want to monopolize the chat. You and I can connect offline after this. I don't want to hold people hostage here, but let's talk about it.
Awesome. Thank you.
I was gonna say, have you, like, I've been preaching the networking thing too, but you know, I've also been watching LinkedIn and everybody. I swear every time I get on there, which is like daily, there's somebody else that's reporting layoffs at their company, and I mean, do you like even recruiters getting laid off? So it's a little bit harder
Mhm.
these days. I mean, like, what's the tactic there? You know? So is it the same?
I mean, I might be naive, but I think that at a company, if you see a job rec open, it's safe to assume that they're hiring. You can cross-reference that with your LinkedIn to say, all right, I see the person who is probably overhiring. If I reach out to them and I make it really short, like, hey, I see this opening, it looks awesome. I want to know who's hiring and what it takes to get hired. If this isn't you, can you route it to the person that it is? And I just want to talk to them. Like I basically open and close almost all conversations with, like, who should I be talking to? Point me in the right direction. And if you follow that rabbit hole, you almost inevitably in like 2 to 3 steps land where you need to land.
Got it. Thanks. Is there
Yeah.
any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a statement that my kids, I have 2 kids and a sister-in-law that are recruiters as well, and they recruit for like government security positions, but they're in the field, and a lot of times, even through LinkedIn, if you see a job on LinkedIn, it's better to go directly to the company website and apply on the company website. Don't apply through Easy Apply. Even though that application will get into the system, they get bombarded by so many of those. There's kind of a tiered thing where they'll look at the people that actually went to the website and applied there first. So that may be one strategy to look at.
I found people like recruiters that have said similar things. Also,
Mm-hmm.
and while we're just sharing like little known tips, I found out through one of my recruiter friends, I think you're on the same call, Fallon, where the guy said that when you see that metric on there that's like 200 people have applied, it's not actually 200 people hit apply. It's like a padding metric, and I don't know if this is exactly true, but it's essentially how many people have looked at that job. So it is still, any application still beneficial to apply than not apply,
Yeah,
but don't ever
yeah,
be discouraged is the takeaway from not applying just because you see a lot of people have applied. Because the other
yeah,
consideration is the people that apply, I've heard several times that 70% of the candidates are just straight up not qualified. They're like bakers
yes,
applying for product designer roles.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or they may not have uh, the ability to work in the United States. And even though they go through the process of saying, yes, I have a visa, I have this and I have that. So you have that as well.
Thanks for sharing that, Lena. I feel like you're a qualified source. You're more plugged in than I am. Okay, breakout rooms. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I got 5 rooms. Let me just shuffle everybody. So I got 5 rooms I can automatically assign randomly, and then the 5 of us can jump in to one of the rooms. Sound good?
And how do we do that specifically? I'm not a Zoom pro here. How do I get automatically put into a breakout?
No, yeah, I'll show you. First of all,
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead. I've got 30 minutes on the clock, if that's okay, Lawrence, and we'll bring everybody back. I'll go ahead and open the rooms. It'll invite everybody to a room, and then I'll show you, Dennis, how to do it.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
All right, cool. Opening those rooms. And then, so what you'll do is at the bottom of the screen, there should be something on the menu that allows you to open up breakout rooms.
Okay.
And then you can, once you see that, then you can just join because you have co-host ability. So you can pick one to join.
All
Okay.
right, how are we doing this? Fallon's in one.
Ellen
Okay.
went in one. Let's
I'll go to
see.
2.
Okay.
Oh wait. I'll go to, oh, Dennis is in 2. All right, I'll go to 5. Or I'll go to 4.
Okay. And then let's see. Lena, do you want to take 3?
Sure.
All right, cool. And then Sherry, do you want me to move you to room 5? Oh, wherever she went. Okay.
Oh, wait, Lawrence, you're muted.
Yeah, okay, cool. Probably for the better. I just was being lame
Mm.
and controversial.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
It brought me back without video and I was muted. So odd.
Same. It reminds me, I was watching The Office recently, and there's the part where Pam is like, she doesn't patch him over to Michael until like that first time, because he always says something stupid. He always starts the calls in a stupid way. So it reminded me of like, okay, let me start calls on mute, so I just get the bad joke right out of it. Like, let me just swing and miss. And
Right? Well,
anyway,
it looks like one person is still in the breakout room. So we'll give them 10 seconds to come back. And then everything will close. 2, 1. All right. Breakout rooms are closed. Take it away, Lawrence.
you got it. So appreciate y'all's time. I think that Lena's still dropping stuff in chat. Before I do my little closeout sesh, do we want to go around and just say like what was one of the what was one of the highlights, or where did y'all spend the most time among the facilitators? I know in my group it was very much like an assortment of how do you reach out, and like if you're not one to cold call people, like what does that look like? How do you use your network to get started? What are some resources? I know we dropped a couple in our chat for volunteer opportunities, and how do you build your portfolio and build projects for your portfolio? Who might you collaborate with? Where might you go? So if anyone has any feedback on some of those ideas, putting them in chat can be awesome, but I'm interested in hearing what the other facilitators saw and heard.
I don't mind jumping in. We talked to very similar to you. And then near the end, I went off on my soapbox about how I think designers should understand something about business and how that is a differentiator and like a must need. And one day I will like have a whole talk on that and we'll talk about, and y'all should know business. Y'all should understand where the business sits with the user. It's not all about the user. We love users, but we also love the business too. So
business people don't get fired typically. I mean, the people that know the business stay around the business. So
that was just me.
no, I'm here for it. Fallon, you're next on my screen. Sorry to pick on you.
No, it's okay. We kind of talked about the similar thing. I think the folks that were in my room are earlier on in their career, so it was like, okay, we kind of amended that LinkedIn exercise a little bit. We looked to see who they knew, and it's like, all right, well, maybe if you don't know nobody, use this message to make new friends. So that type of thing. And we talked about like owning your narrative and your story. Because one of the folks in my room is transitioning from sales to design. To kind of piggyback off of Cindy, what you were saying, I'm like, well, you have a sales background, so you understand what the user needs to kind of convert. So you're very uniquely positioned to drive revenue with your designs. You know the sales side already. And I don't know that. So those types of things. Yeah. And I tried to show them a little bit about Pearl, but I'm like, wait, I think something's up with it. I think something's up with it. We got to check the website.
Yeah, no. I'm like, we're in the middle of I was using this lull as a time.
I figured you were doing something on the back end, but I think I think a lot of folks are hungry for like, okay, well, where do I put the information and the experience that I do have, and how do I package it to make it look attractive to somebody who might want someone with more experience?
Give us 7 days. Dennis, you want to go next? Appreciate it.
Yeah, I did a round robin, just kind of asked everyone what their challenges are, and then I tried to address each one of them. We talked a lot about how to, as a researcher, how to sell, how to interview, and it was more about make sure you're making that connection with the business. How did you impact the business? To second, Cindy Cindy's comments. It's important that, it's great that we like to design, but we're in a business, and the business is out there to make money, and we have to make sure we connect those two things together, and we're able to show our impact on the end result of the business. So that was a huge thing. And then also when people have kind of parallel tracks, when they've been in somewhat UX and they had another career, how they transition over. And my comment was kind of like around design is everywhere, and design is about communication and solving problems. So there's always, in other jobs that you've been in, there's always ways that you've solved a problem for someone. And that's in a small way, that's experience design. You're trying to make something better for somebody else. And so there's translatable skills. You got to really sit down and think about those things and pull those little stories out.
No, awesome. Appreciate that, Dennis. And Lena, you want to close this out?
Yeah, so we were talking about how to stand out, which is one of my favorite topics. And so my big takeaway is that it is all about storytelling. Every element of your job search is a part of your story. So your resume needs to tell the same story as your portfolio. Your LinkedIn needs to tell that same story. And you need to be able to verbalize your personal story with energy. And it is okay if you steal that energy from some other aspect of your life. You can be thinking about chocolate chip cookies. You can be thinking about a puppy. I don't care. Tell your story with energy so other people can feel it too.
Faking it till you make it is so real. No, I appreciate that. All right, last couple things just to close out, tie us all up, and then we can go about our evenings. I swear this will only be like 30 seconds. So parting thoughts, some practical things, some homework, if you will. I'll do presentation mode, sure. Reach out to someone you know well. Talk to people. Hopefully the takeaway has been talk to people, talk to people, talk to people. Aim to talk to someone new every week. And if you don't have a project already, much like Fallon said earlier, build in public, start that project, see if you can collaborate with someone else. That's huge. But also remember, the job market is tough for everyone, and it is not a reflection of you, your skills, your values. It is not a reflection about you. It is what it is. So find your tribe, mentor, friend, people to help out, people to keep you sane. And lastly, and it's really hard to remember this in the thick of it, but people are busy and want to help you. So just make it as easy as possible for them to help you. And to support Pearl, I'll send this out afterwards, but follow us on LinkedIn. As Fallon said, we're in the middle of an update, in the middle of a pivot that I'm really excited to share with people like you on the job search. Add your work to Pearl. And if you want to be at the cutting edge, beta user testing, providing feedback, being in the loop, seeing how the sausage gets made, reach out to me personally. I'll have the links for everything here. And thank you so very much for your time and attention.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, everybody. Lawrence, Fallon, Dennis, Lena, you're awesome. Thank you for everybody for coming. Y'all are great. I'm happy to stay for a little bit to answer questions. I think Lawrence, you said too, but if you are like, I'm out, y'all have a wonderful holiday. Okay.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Take care.
everyone.
Go ahead and stop the recording.